Welcome. You've heard me talk on the podcast before about hop water, how I've made my own. I think I've got it pretty good now. The key for me was this keg apparatus that instead of like soaking the hops in vodka and then using the drops in like carbonated water, that gave it too much of a vodka taste, which I didn't want. I wanted something non-alcoholic. So the first go round was a disaster. I steeped the hops in like a growler, and then I put that stuff in the soda stream. It was hideous. It was an explosion. Hop water everywhere. My God, was it bad. But it tasted good. So I kept thinking, I got to figure out a way to do this. I bought some hops from the Billy Goat Hop Farm. Billy Goat Hop Farm. That sounds familiar. I think there's a podcast out this week talking about Billy Goat Hop Farm. There's something in front. I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but check that podcast out, and you could hear Audrey from Billy Goat talk all about the hop industry. But I digress. So the recipe's pretty good. You take, this is about a growler. So what I did in a regular growler is I took a half ounce. In this case, I've used Magnum hops. I wanted to try Magnum. I tried Cascade and Lemon Drop before. So I wanted to try some Magnum in this to see. And the key for this is, so you've got a growler, a half a gallon. You use a half an ounce of the pellet hops. Now, I read from the American Homebrewers Association that you can't just put hops in water because you need some other stuff for it. So what they recommended, and it has worked out well, you steep the hops in the water. You take a half a teaspoon of gypsum and a half a teaspoon of citric acid. And then I also added about a half a teaspoon of dry brewer's yeast, just regular US 05 in the familiar red packet. Let that sit overnight. I put it in the keg and carbonated it. So here we go. Now this is the first one I'm tapping, so it's probably going to be a little foamier than it will be, after the first go round. But let's try it and see how this tastes. Looks good, yeah. It's foamy. I don't know if you can tell from a camera angle there, but it does have nice carbonation. I do. I like the smell of this a lot. I do. I mean, I like hop, so of course I'm going to like the smell of this. Yeah. Like the citric acid, even though it's just a tiny amount, it really brings out the flavors of the hops. So I like this. It's cheaper than buying a 4-pack, a 6-pack of your commercial hop waters. And while they're good, some of them have that raw hop taste that I like this better. And it's just me, your mileage may vary, but the addition of the gypsum, the brewer's yeast, and the citric acid really put this over the top. Yeah, that's good. I like it with the Magnum, the Cascade. I still have to think my favorite would be the lemon drop hops, but I'm going to keep trying different ones and see, who knows? We all like different hops. I'll try maybe a Citra, or I'll try, something else, and we'll see what works. But if you like hop water, after your initial investment, it costs almost nothing to make. It's a lot cheaper than buying, from the grocery store, from the liquor store. So I'll put the recipe, I put the ingredients on the bottom here. I'll put a title card or something at the end of this to put exactly what you need to do. But half-gallon growler of hop water gives you 4 pints. You can just drink this, one a day if you want something. You don't want the alcohol. I think this is really good. Check out the latest Beer in Front podcast where I talked to Audrey Gelhausen from the Billy Goat Hop Farm. That was a lot of fun talking to her. I learned a lot about the hop industry. So if you're interested in beer, check out Beer in Front.